good afternoon. Welcome back to Rain Boots and Radish Roots. Oh, you know what? I'm not going to step off my porch. I thought it would be a great time to do a garden tour. It's early spring, April 11th or 12th, sorry. And I don't have everything in the garden, but I've got a lot, enough for us to do like an early spring tour, so that will be fun. But the reason I didn't want to step off, which side should I do? Let's do this side. The reason I didn't want to step off my porch yet is because I have my nasturtium on and planters that are on the railing for our front porch, and this railing is not long for this world. We're gonna get rid of it, but for now I wanted to plant all my nasturtium so that they could hang down and grow, and we can collect the blossoms and eat them. So I'm gonna turn you around, and then we're gonna do a fun garden tour and probably finish up with the chickens. Okay, so here's our nasturtium. We have 4 containers like this. We did start them from seed. I started some from seed, and then the frost got them, and that was the end of that. And actually from our porch you can see, let me go a little bit slower over here. I have more around this old sad oleander. It's always sad through the winter here in North Carolina, and then it will perk up once summer comes here. But so this is the view of the cottage garden. But let's walk down there and take a look at it. So one of the reasons I wanted to bring you out into the garden is because I have blueberries and a couple of fruit trees over here, and I wanted to show you, not always the good things, but sometimes the really rough looking things. So I'm going to show you our peach trees and our plum trees, and the blueberries, but one of the plum and one of the blueberry are just not looking well, and I was trying to figure out what was wrong with them. I went to some homesteaders online, asked them some questions, and what I essentially found out after looking at pictures of traumatized plum trees over and over and over again is the frost got them. And it's weird because they only got the one bush and the one tree. Everything else looks fine. So I'm going to turn you around and have you take a look at them. Okay, so right here, this is one of our peach trees. It's looking happy and healthy. The bed right behind it is where tomatoes will go as soon as they decide to get a little bigger. So you can see here the blueberry is doing fine. We got some more blueberries right here. Happy blueberries, happy peach, and then look at this, not happy, not even a little bit. And you can see it's trying to come back, or it is coming back, but I think the frost or the freeze, it was supposed to be a light frost and it ended up being a hard freeze, and I think that's what happened. And then look at this sad, there's this little guy is not even alive anymore, I'm pretty sure, because if you can see, these are dry, like falling off. I could crunch them. Definitely does not look like the other fruit trees. And this blueberry, I think, is coming back, one because it's a blueberry bush, but it's very well established. It's been here for 4 years versus the plum tree has not. So anyway, let's move on. So all of in these pots this is all horseradish. Every single one of those pots is horseradish, and now I have an abundance of horseradish. So my friends and family are getting horseradish plants, whether they want them or not. And we've got little tiny baby. This is the medicinal bed, with one exception. At the very end of this medicinal bed, I have watermelon. which I hope I can guide outside of this because I have tons of room outside of the bed for it. We've got calendula, we have caraway and fennel, dill. I know that doesn't sound like medicinal, but you got to mix your herbs in a little bit. Borage, comfrey, lemon, bee balm, yarrow, chamomile. So I have Roman chamomile here and then German chamomile in our other bed, which you'll see. Green peas, because I like to take advantage of space wherever I can. See that horseradish? More. I'm actually going to have to take it out of here because can you also see the electrical box right there? And when you dig up horseradish, you're digging up the taproot. So that's getting moved because I can't dig that. That would be very dangerous. Ginger is in here with that extra yarrow, mint. Basically, if it's an invasive plant, I planted it in this bed because I figured they can kind of fight each other out for space. Elecampane and catnip. Everything that's invasive is in this bed because that way they can battle it out. And then some more green peas. Okay, and then over here is where peppers will be once they are big enough to transplant. We've got pickling cucumbers to climb right there on both sides. And I planted one little English cucumber plant because I can pickle the rest. I can only eat so many English cucumbers. So this will be the tomato bed with the cherry tomatoes climbing on that trellis right there. These are the two, aside from the medicinal bed there, these are the two sunniest beds in the garden. So that's why they're devoted for tomatoes and peppers. Here is another example of a garden struggle that I'm having right now. These are beans. Most of them have come up beautifully, but then some of them have come up looking like this little guy right there, or this one right here. Like, I do not understand why they came up without leaves, and I also don't know if they're going to grow new leaves. And I think they are, and the reason I think they are is because if you see here, this one is starting to grow new leaves. And it's just so weird because some of them came up fine, or many, and some of them did not. I've never experienced that. This frame that you see right here is what we used to put plastic on in the winter. So we can have lettuce well into, we didn't run out of lettuce till January this year. Squash. We've got patty pan, zucchinis, a couple of different varieties of zucchinis in there. And right here we have rainbow chard and snow peas. Purple and green snow peas on this trellis right here. These are black beans, which these little guys did not come up well at all. So I'm going to give them a little longer, and then I'm going to come back out and reseed, because I did seed them when it was both damp and cool out, and I know beans do not like that. So I'm gonna give them a little bit longer to recover, and if they don't, then I'm just gonna come back out and reseed them. Here is where the tomatillos are going once they are again big enough to transplant. All those warm weather plants are not ready yet. We've only had really one full warm day and night. We've got garlic. The garlic is looking really good. Pretty excited. Got some pumpkins. And then again, the pumpkins will have a lot of room to overflow, if you can see all of that area. As long as I can guide them in that one, as long as the runner heads that direction. This is where the grapes are. So right here we have brand new little wine grapes. And then we have so these are both wine grapes right here. You can't see it. There you go. But then we have table grapes that are arriving probably next week. And that's what will be these other posts. And then we'll have wire running in between for them to climb on. Even the clematis is like, yes, spring is here. Let me blossom. So on the arbor, which I feel like could hold just about anything, the way that my husband built it, it's so strong. This side will have loofah growing up. And then this side is going to have Mexican gherkin or cucamelons. And as you can see, this is where our strawberry bed is, our strawberry patch. And this is its last season here. I'm going to rip it up. I'm going to pull up some daughter plants and stick it in that green stalk over there. And that will forever be the strawberry bed, vertical strawberry bed. And then I'm going to amend this bed right here because it's going to need it, and plant other things in it, because this is just not giving us enough strawberries to make it worth it. This is supposed to be, these are supposed to be pumpkins, but instead they are volunteer potatoes, and I honestly didn't have the heart to rip them out, so I'm probably going to leave them. And I'm probably, I feel like some pumpkins can grow in there with those, and nothing bad can happen from that. See this little lonely plant right here? This is Toby. Toby's 12, and Toby wanted, this is his plant, his pepper plant. It's a Carolina Reaper. I have no interest in growing a Carolina Reaper, but he really wanted to grow Carolina Reaper. He does love really spicy things, like more than most adults like, but I'm a mom. I just can't let him just bite into a Carolina Reaper, so don't worry, I won't let him. But I am going to let him grow one. Because if he's taking an interest in gardening, I'm not going to stop him. Okay, so over here we have snap peas, sugar snap peas. So right now on trellises we have what we've seen so far: green peas, sugar snap peas here, and snow peas. So here are again the snap peas. We have purple and green, and then there is it's not Swiss chard. What is it? That's Swiss chard. Collards. We have collards in here on both sides, because the peas will grow vertical, and then the collards will benefit from any sort of, they're a great companion planting with any sort of bean or pea. This bed is our kale. Just looking sad because I'm telling you, we had like a pretty hard freeze and I didn't expect it, but we got some Russian red. We eat so much kale. We need as many plants as possible. And kale's not a real summer heat loving plant, so I try to plant it in the shadier part, and in fact when these peas come up, they'll provide some shade for it, for the collards and for the kale, which will make them tolerate that heat a little better. Here's the other herb. Well, I should say herb beds, plural. We have many different types of basil here. I have 3 more that I'm going to be planting in there, including Thai basil and a lemon basil. Clearly my celery is not, do you see them? Do you see the celery in there? Because I don't. Haven't come up yet, but I'm not giving up. I have cilantro in spades because I tend to kill it. So we've got cilantro there, Some more cilantro over here. And this is where my German chamomile is, right here. But as you can see, cilantro, more cilantro. Mexican tarragon, which I love. It's amazing, and it's good if your tummy doesn't feel good. And then I have regular tarragon, which will go in here. This is, all of these are radish. Radishes, they just, you know, they don't take long. So I'm gonna yank all those up, and then this will be my tarragon section of my bed. Parsley, I mean, you only really ever need one parsley plant. Rhubarb, in fact, that's why it's in here, because that rhubarb is going to get huge, and I wanted to kind of push back on that parsley because it needs it. Over here we have rosemary, lavender, which this lavender is coming back nicely, but this lavender is still suffering from that frost. Oregano is coming back. Oregano overwinters really well, and it actually hangs on for a long time through the winter, but then this last frost kind of just pushed everything over the edge. Chives, I'm still waiting for my chives to bloom. I don't know why that's so important to me, but I just want to see them bloom. Thyme and sage. And you guys, sage is like, it takes over, but it is so pretty. Like, look at that pretty little, I don't know if you can see it, purple blossom. Hopefully you can see it. It's just so pretty. And I can't even not weed. I have to pull weeds every time I see them. But it's just, it's beautiful. It's beautiful. It's happy. It tastes good. This is the sad area. And I say that because look at these, just take a look at these strawberries. Guys, I just saw a huge hawk fly over. I'm gonna have to check on my chickens, I think. See if you can see them. Like, what are you doing, sir? Can I help? Okay, we're back. I ran the hawk off. I mean, didn't actually run it off. I just walk out there and it usually goes away once it sees something bigger than the chickens. Okay, so anyway, I bought strawberries, fresh new baby strawberries. I planted them in here, and then they just really didn't do well. And now they're finally starting to like, oh, okay, I do like life. It's okay. But you can see, like, look at this one. It was not loving life. So, and here's some more of an example that, like, yeah, it wasn't doing well. So there's like, what is that? But the crown is still alive, so I'm not taking it out. I did stuff some leftover lettuce in there. And I really think it's about watering, because watering, it says to fill it up until it runs out the bottom. That's true. But you do need to come back and check and see if that was enough water. And if it wasn't, then you need to fill it up again and keep checking your soil. Here again, so everything over here is really like, they love cooler temperatures. So again, the peas are really kind of the important part of this piece, because they grow up and they provide shade. And here are all of our I'm sorry, not our mustards. Mustards I actually have in here. Lettuce. These are our lettuces. And these are our carrots. But these are not our big crop carrots. These are more for fresh eating. The mint, this is taken over. I'm gonna have to just dry some because I don't have the heart to like cut it and put it in the compost if there's too much. It's just gonna become tea or flavoring for cocktails. And that's it for right now. That's like the whole garden. I didn't really take you inside of the greenhouse yet. Ooh, and there's a little wasp. I mean, I have to be honest, for a gardener, I don't like flying, stinging ant things. And I do want bees. So, it's gonna become, I'm gonna overcome my fears. That's what I'm gonna do. Okay, so greenhouse, what we have in here are all the heat lovers. If you love heat, I've got all of my marigolds. Just now having some tomatoes sprout out of here, because again, it's just now getting warm enough at night for them to do that. And I've got some more pumpkins. So these are the pumpkins. I know I have some outside this greenhouse, but these are the pumpkins that are going to go in between the corn. These will be planted, and I'm going to show you where the corn's going to go in just a minute. This, remember when we were talking about planting from like a cutting, starting from a cutting? That's the oregano, that's the rosemary, and they're both doing really well. I also have, look at the purple tomatillos. Like, purple tomatillos are the first one up every time I plant them. And the same for the orange jalapenos. Like, look at this. They're like the first ones up. They love it. So basically we're talking peppers, pumpkins, and tomatoes of whatever variety. That's what's in the greenhouse because it's hot and they like heat. It's 105 degrees in here right now, which is why they're probably sprouting. Whew, my hair's, I had to get sunglasses. It's sunny out here. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're going to take a walk over to what we call the other property, which is still attached to our property. It's just a long walk over there because of how it's laid out and separated, and take a look at what we have for market rows. But on the way, we will, one, pass some more fruit trees, and two, pass the chickens. So if you can see right here, well, there's the greenhouse, and if you can see, let me see, right there, we have a whole row of cherry and apricot trees. So they're doing really well. The hardest thing about them is we have something around them just in case the deer decide to wander over here and eat on them, and to protect them, and they cave in on all the time. The other thing we're gonna pass is our Meyer Lemon, and it's our second Meyer Lemon, but that's because the first one was shipped to me as a baby in January. So I tried really hard to keep it alive, and there was just no way I was going to keep a baby citrus tree alive in January in North Carolina. So we got another one, and it's doing really well. It's really happy. And you can see right there, we got our chickshaw. And so before we walk over there, I wanted to show you the top of the chickshaw. The other day, it wasn't latched and properly, and the wind blew it completely off, ripped the boards actually in two spots, and it was laying on the ground right back here. So we had to fix that. And now the back door that we have right here won't shut all the way because that also was damaged in the process, and we were like leaving for a friend's house, so we didn't fix it all the way. Hey ladies, what are you doing? She's gonna chase that butterfly. Yeah. What? Hi, mamas. When are you going to start earning your keep? When are you going to get me some eggs? Okay. So, and here is our lemon, our Meyer Lemon. As you can see, it's doing much better than our old one. I don't know if you saw the old one, but it was not doing all right. So this is our one and only pecan tree. The property we live on used to be a pecan farm. And so we do have this one pecan tree on our property. And it does produce pecans, but not to any significant degree. So I don't really think, let me turn you around here. So I don't really think that there's anything that I can do to make it produce more pecans efficiently. I think it's just too old. I haven't done much research on it. But that'd be cool. It'd be cooler if it did produce more pecans. So now we're over on what we like to call the other property. And the first thing that we're gonna come up to is our witch hazel. So I'm gonna turn you around and give you a little garden tour over here. Okay, I don't know if you can see it because everything is so green. Let me circle around. Okay, that's my witch hazel, which actually is native to North Carolina. It usually grows in the woods freely if you really want to go and look for it. Our elderberry is so tiny and I have to cut it free. It's like decided to take off all of a sudden and I have to get it out of the little cage. And we do have two. So we'll have one right here. And over here on this property is where our raspberry and blackberry bushes are going to go. We have, this is where all of our non-stone fruit trees are. So apple and pear. Straight down there. Okay, take a look. So over here what we have are market rows. So we have potatoes, carrots, cabbage and onions, and then we will have sweet potatoes and corn, and at the end of the rows will be some kind of a squash or pumpkin. And then also we will have, hopefully you can hear me because there is a big road right there, and then we're going to have a wide like row with blocks of corn, but inside the corn we're going to have the rest of the pumpkins growing in there. So I want to give that a try because I heard, I think we were talking about this and now it's gonna fail me, Holler Homestead say that their squash did well that they had planted inside the corn. So I'm gonna try it and see, but I'm gonna turn you around here so that you can get just a little peek at what's going on. And this is a much harder garden for us to grow because we have to haul water over here to water it for now. We have a structure that's going up that we will go over a whole watering system that we're going to put in. That's basically, it's an off-grid watering system. But for right now, the off-grid watering system involves my muscles and sweat along with the rest of my family. And we haul it over here in the wagon on the lawnmower and we water by hand. So this is a labor of love without a doubt. So I'm gonna just turn you around and let you take a look at everything. Okay, so here's our potatoes. And what's really funny is down here you're gonna see where I was like, oh no, I'm gonna run out of room, I'm gonna double plant the potatoes. Like single, double. And they're 40 foot rows. They're the width of a broad fork, but the corn is going to be the width of 2.5 to 3 broad forks. And I can tell you that coming this winter, I'm going to just black tarp in between here and mulch because I am really tired of, I can mow in between there, but then I lose some of the edge of my bed and I don't like that. And you can see this is the drier end for the carrots because when I get you down here closer to look, they're sparse. And it's definitely the dry, high, hotter, full sun end of the garden versus here, where you can see all, like how much. So these are carrots. So once the carrots get a little taller, it will, they tend to really shade out any weed because they're just so tall and they cover the ground really well. But right now it's a total pain in the butt. And then this is where you have more doppel. By the afternoon you have doppled sun or doppel shade. So those are the cabbage. This is a cabbage row. And then cabbage. And there are marigolds planted mixed in here because of how much bugs love cabbages. And then this, we've got our onion row right here. And onions just, they require so much water, and because their roots are just not that deep. So you can imagine hauling water over here and watering all these onions. But they also really like a dry, like when it's time to harvest, they want it to be kind of dry. And so this should be a perfect spot once we get the watering system down. But that's, and then over here next week, because we just finally got warmed up where we can do it, will be the last and final row, and it will be the corn and the pumpkins. But so when I was saying we had fresh eating carrots, these will be for storage and canning, and every other possible way you can have a carrot. That's it. That's the garden tour for now, the spring garden tour. I'll bring you back when we put the tomatoes and peppers in, which, you know, admittedly have been struggling because I tried to rush things like most gardeners do and get them going too early, and it was too cold. And it's just, you know, everything has a season and a time, and I need to wait for it to warm up so that they would sprout, because I really don't want to buy starts for them. And once they're ready, they'll go in the ground, and we'll do another garden tour, and we'll see how far things have come. And hopefully the beans will have recovered by then. So if this was enjoyable or helpful, please like and subscribe. And if you have any comments or questions, please leave them in the comments below. Any advice about the beans, that'd be awesome. Or about the pecan tree, that would also be cool. And I will see you guys next time.